Hey everybody, it's Max McAllister back. We're going to show you how to install HomeLink on your Honda GoldWing. And so I'm going to preface this to say this is not a typical do-it-yourself installation. I would highly encourage you to let a Honda trained technician or some other skilled electrical person do this. This one's going to kind of transcend the skills of the normal home do-it-yourselfer. So we're just going to jump right into it. And what we're after is HomeLink. So gives you access to open your garage door when you pull up with your motorcycle and such. And your push button console up on your dash, we're going to add some buttons and controls for that. And then we have to add a control module into the right rear saddlebag and a small harness. So I'll show you what's involved and get into all that. So first of all, take your motorcycle completely apart. All right, start there. So basically what you see that we've done here, you're going to have to do to your motorcycle. So that includes removing opening saddlebags, removing the side covers, removing the saddle, removing both mirrors, removing the trim pieces, removing the upper fairings, removing the inner fairing liners, removing the radiator cowls, removing the tank shelter assembly. And once you get to that, you're going to remove the whole push button control dashboard assembly. That's not that crazy difficult. They've probably seen some videos of people standing it up to put Healy bar risers or things like that on. But there's basically 2 push pins and 2 bolts that hold it at the back. You slide it forward a little bit on this tit that sticks up here, and it snaps up, the front snaps up. The whole thing will be there. There's 4 electrical connectors, 2 per side. You have to undo all the electrical connections. And what you're going to end up with at that point is the HomeLink dashboard, your center control console on laying on a bench. Now, to start with, to disassemble this, there's a decorative side piece on each side. Let me see how that goes. I got it upside down. Goes like this. There's 2 screws, a long and a short, on each side that you use to remove these. This is another one where they give you no instructions. It says remove the 2 screws and take the piece off. Unfortunately, that's not good enough instructions. This is one of the pieces of plastic that's really interlocked and has a lot of snaps on it, and you're going to be certain you're going to break it. It has very much the sensation that you're going to break it all the time. So what you need to do is, starting at the front, in here is a little tab that helps. If you pull on that first, it'll pop that loose, and then you can kind of work your way down the edge. So you need to remove those 2 covers, right? And it's just because of lack of instructions that, things like this, it's easy to break little teeny weeny tabs and things off. There's a little chunk off of ours that got broken right there. There's just a little speck, but doesn't matter. But anyway, so if you flex that little tab up at the front, that'll help you get this apart. Once you flip it over, 2 more small screws down here at the front of this top cover bezel. That does lift off easily and simply. Once you get here, this is going to be the point where you start getting pretty angry at Honda, because here's all you're going to do on both sides. So we've already installed one. I'm just installing another one to save time. You remove this screw. See, this is a blank dead button here. You take that screw out. You're going to pull that out. You take the HomeLink button, put it in the hole, and push down on it. Hang on a second, you got to get it lined up just right. Oh, there's a little groove up in there. There you go, sorry. Now that's done. So you're 3 hours into this, and all you've done is take this friggin' piece of plastic off and snap that piece of friggin' plastic on. In fact, Honda, look at me. Honda, this is so stupid that you actually spent more money by having to have a screw on this one. You could have saved the cost of a screw and just given people the HomeLink buttons installed on their thing. So, and to add to the level of hilarity in the instructions, Honda says it's important that you save that screw. So don't lose this in case you ever want to spend another 3 hours tearing your bike back apart so that you can take the home link buttons out and save those for your next bike, you know, because they're, you know, highly valuable. So anyway, there's that joke, and there's all that junk. So now what we have to do is go in reverse to get this console back together, and we'll go out, we'll get this reinstalled on the bike, and then I'm gonna show you the back section, so which is much more complicated than what we've had to do here, just so you can install a little module that's about that big for your garage, to get your garage door opener in. Now, I'll be honest, this is going to fall into the category for a lot of people of, it's for the cost, it's almost just easier to get a very small version of your garage door opener button and keep it on the bike somewhere, because this kit costs $214 from Honda, and the installation is, you know, somewhere, it's got to be, I haven't looked at Honda flat rate, but this has got to be in the 4-hour plus range cost for installation. I can't see it being less than that. And particularly knowing how far the bike has to come apart. So again, let me reiterate, it's in your interest to decide on the first day you own the bike every accessory that you're ever going to want to install, and have them all done at once while the bike's apart. There's a long screw and a short screw. You can't screw that up because there's only one way it goes together, honestly. And if you hang with me while I screw these in, I'll show you the finished product. There we go. So on the back, you'll see in a moment when we show you that installation, there's a couple of ways to attack it. I'll assume that you might have a friend around. If you have a friend around, that one's going to be able to be done much easier, and it'll save some time. If you have to do it by yourself completely alone, it's going to be very challenging at a minimum. So, all right, here's our completed console. And now all we've accomplished in 3 hours is we replaced that piece of plastic with that piece of plastic. So there you go. We're going to call this part 1. And next part 2 will be controlling installing the controller module, and then hopefully some reassembly of the bike. So if you like my videos, please subscribe, and don't forget to share these with your friends. Thanks.